Hi guys, welcome to our channel. So today we are demonstrating a new topic in generative AI systems. So we haven't given a video for some time now. The reason is we were researching on different areas and we were working on new product also in generative AI space. So that's where we were able to not deliver the content on time. But now that we have reached a certain stealth stage of our product, we're gonna deliver the content more proactively now going forward. So, in the similar series, now we have started our content with a new topic in the generative AI system, or rather in AI systems, which is gaining or which can gain a lot of attention as well, or which ideally I would say needs a lot of attention as well if you are building a AI driven system. The AI driven system, when I say it can be a GenAI system or it can be a normal machine learning model or anything else where you encounter a deep learning model or wherever you take the user inputs. So, why this topic is important, we're gonna discuss that today. Thank you. So, let's move to the topic. So, the topic name is guardrails. Guardrails, as you mean, if I tell you on the very high level terms, so it's basically protecting. Like if user is inputting or if user is interacting with your application via chatbot or via input form or something like that, so they can give some inputs to your system. Now those inputs can be utilized to trigger a call or call an AI model which will actually give you an output based on some preconditions or based on the model's working as well. Now, if a user can give the input, which means the user can give some malfunctioned or invalid input also, which your system may not be able to handle as well. Or secondly, the system or the input which is given that may not be completely relevant for your system as well. And not only the input, now the outputs also can be different. Now, let's say if you're talking to an AI model, that output can be generated in a foul language or something like that. So that also you will have to encounter. All these scenarios are falling under the guardrails. Now, whenever you are building a Gen AI system or an AI system, so why guardrails matter? Let's see that. Prevent harmful outputs. Now, if your AI model or an LLM model you are talking to, they are actually giving you a toxic outputs or a biased outputs or a wrong information which is not relevant or which is not giving the correct response to the user, which ideally is factual and correct, then it's a we need to use guardrails over there to protect this kind of information to be delivered to the user. So this is about the outputs which the LLM models or the AI models generate. Maintains the brand safety. Now, if you are building a Gen AI system or a product which actually gives or reflects your I would say company's brand name as well. So if it means if you deliver a product on company's brand name and if it gives the wrong values to the customer, so then it basically hinders or impacts the company's image as well. So guardrails protect in that brand safety as well. Compliance, which is pretty important when you're building a software system. It can be a software or a combination of Gen AI or not a Gen AI but AI driven systems and the software systems. So the compliance is always pretty important. No matter you talk about different compliances across the globe, like the Europeans GDPR compliance or the HIPAA compliance. So we have to so whichever outputs you are generating, those outputs should abide to the compliance rules also. Okay, so you should not be using such a model which is giving you an output which is not rather compliant also. Okay. So the real life example is Microsoft chatbot quickly generated offensive content without guardrails. Now this it can happen to any of the chatbots. Let's say if I build a new chatbot which is interacting to an LLM model and that LLM model is not well trained and it is maybe trained on abusive content or foul language content. So no matter what you ask to that LLM model, it will give you offensive content, which will actually provoke more of the user who is asking. Okay, so that is another impact that the bad outputs can have, and why guardrails have to be put in there to restrict those outputs to be delivered to the user. Now, what are the different type of guardrails that we have? The content filtering. Okay, now if you are generating a content, like if an AI model is generating content, then it should not generate the content which is inappropriate. Like if a text which is written and if the images are generated which are not appropriate to be delivered to the user. Uh, Appropriate, I means like if those content and the images provoke wrong feelings in the user or provoke wrong feelings among the user groups, so then it is a content which is inappropriate. This has to be filtered immediately via your guardrails. If that is not done, it means in the longer duration of the usage of your product, so people will not prefer using your product because it will impact their toxic thought process and all that things, which is first type of guardrails which we should always do. Then the input validation. Now, whatever user is inputting, let's say in the chatbot, if I am inputting something, okay. Now, whatever I'm inputting, those instructions can go into your prompt also when you are calling the AI model behind the scenes. Now, whatever you type, if that is not sanitized, if that is not filtered, then it will prevent, or then it will not prevent the injections or the malicious attacks, and then it can impact your outputs also. So, for example, if I ask in the chatbot, if I write some function which can impact or which can execute in the behind the scenes when it is interacting to an AI model, so it can have a negative output also. Okay. Or in the other hand, if I am saying in the chatbot, let's say forget whatever has happened. Okay. Then if you haven't put any guardrails, so then it will forget everything and it will not have any history behind the scenes, or it will not follow that follow the previous history because you have given the instruction to forget everything. So these are some of the things which user will not, I would say, be wary about when he or she is using the chatbot. Rather, the team who is building this application, they should be worrying about why guardrails are important and where they have to be put in place. Output monitoring. Um, so basically, this is nothing but related to the content filtering. What kind of content you are generating? uh, Policy violations. Let's say if you are generating a content which is violating the company's policy, so then it has to be monitored also. Okay. Then the rate limiting controls the API usage to prevent the abuse also. So those kind of things also can guardrails can prevent. Of course, this is kind of deeper implementation, but you can implement this via other ways also. But this is rate limiting is kind of can fall in guardrails but cannot fall also in guardrails as well. Now implementing guardrails, how we should do it. Now till now what we have seen is what is guardrails, why do we need guardrails, and what kind of guardrails we have. Now we need to see how to implement them. Define the policy, that's the first step. If you are using, if you're working in an enterprise organization and you have let's say adopted a new AI tool to improve your productivity, then you will actually, let's say you start using GitHub Copilot in your software organization. So then you would lay down some few policies like on how to use the GitHub Copilot, what kind of inputs should be there and what kind of outputs is expected, and how much you should use. So these are the policies which you can limit as well. Now these are the policies which are on the user level. Now user may not follow or user follow, but if you're building a product which can be used by the enterprise users like your internal users, then you can put in some guardrails into your software system itself, that if user tries to use it in wrong way, then it should not, it should restrict the user, that this cannot be used further and so on, whatever. So it has to be implemented in the policies level first. Then whichever guardrails we have seen in the previous slide, or there may be any other guardrails types also, then we need to choose which all guardrails are uh, impacted with respect to your product. So if you take one product and you see that there are 10 type of guardrails overall, now you need to identify which are the guardrails which are impacted because of your product. Then you need to choose those. And then the third part is the integration, how you embed the guardrails into your model workflows and the system. Now this integration is a technical thing. How you implement it, it depends on how your software or your GenAI systems are implemented, what kind of frameworks they are using, how you want to do the what kind of libraries you want to do to implement the guardrails and all that thing. So it completely depends on that technical analysis. Now the fourth point is continuous refinement. uh, it's not like by day one, if you have implemented a guardrail, so then it will be done and your software will be running for years after that. It's not about that. Guardrails will have to be monitored over the time, and it will have to be refined as well for ongoing safety of your software and the GenAI system. So these four things are pretty important when you are implementing guardrails into your enterprise or any of the consumer driven AI systems. Now the technical approaches. So craft prompts to steer the AI behavior. Of course, like whenever user is inputting something, so you need to um, send the prompt in, or change the prompt in such a way, or uh, improvise the prompt in such a way before calling the AI system that your guardrails are not sacrificed. Okay. So for example, zero shot prompting, few shot learning prompting. So if let's say user is sending you a message on chat, and then you take that message, you have your skeleton, you create a dynamic prompt behind the scenes by taking user instruction. Now that dynamic prompt should be designed in such a way that it should uh, help you solve those guardrails problem, like all those things which we talked about previously, not all, but maybe some of them. And then you send that prompt to your AI system. This will also help in reducing some of the guardrails implications as well. Then the fine tuning. So obviously, if you are fine tuning an LLM model or a specific AI model on the trained data set that you have, on the ethical data set, so then it will be behave a bit better. So if I train my AI model in such a way that with the content, that if it gets a wrong language, it will start saying that, hey, this is bad and I can't respond, something like that. This is one of the examples. So if you train the LLM models or AI models on such content, so then if you start using it directly in the production, it is that chances that it will not reply you with the offensive language and all that, because it is already trained that if you receive an offensive language, you have to respond casually and not respond with the way happens in some of the offensive discussions. Then the ensemble methods, combine models to enhance the safety checks. So you need to combine different models and see their outputs and see which one is giving more uh, better output, or which one is sacrificing, or which one is implementing the guardrails more uh, in the better way. So this is a kind of complex thing or a tricky thing when you are implementing it technically, but you will have to see which one is feasible according to your technical road plan or the budgeting or the enterprise values as well. Then we have few case studies. Yeah, let's look at this monitoring and evaluation. Track the metrics, like how your guardrails are getting respected in your monitoring system. Audit them regularly and see the review effective guardrails. Are they working the way they are expected, or are they not working the way they were expected as well? So, so if let's say you have implemented five guardrails in your system, so in the monitoring system, you need to see whether for each request, let's say these five guardrails are getting implemented or not. If the core guardrails, let's say after the five, three are core guardrails which are not implemented frequently, then it's a issue which you need to fix in the monitoring system. So these are the things which you need to implement on the sideways for guardrails also. Then the red teaming, which is stress test with adversarial scenarios to find the weak spots. Okay, so you need to do the stress testing of your system and analyze the weak points, and then you need to start working on them as well. Now all these things which I am talking about, all these things we are implementing in different products also today. And understanding the criticality of this topic That's why we have brought this video after a long time when we are coming back. So that's where this video or content is pretty important, because this is coming from our sheer working analysis of a exact software as well. Now the case studies. AI prevents insider trading with careful language model controls. So definitely, if you train an AI model on some internal data or something, and then if you ask few questions to it, which is, let's say, the AI model should be only able to answer which are relevant to the user. Now, if there are some internal data which is yet to be revealed in the public, and if AI model has knowledge of that data also, and if a user asks about that data, then that AI should not be able to respond it. That is one of the guardrails implementation in financial services also. In healthcare also, you can protect the patient's data wherever the compliances are pretty high. So if let's say if I'm asking you a question about myself while talking to a customer service agent which is an AI driven, in the meantime, if I ask a question about other person whom I may not know, so then disclosing that customer's information to me, it's against the compliances. So that's where the strict guardrails have to be implemented in these healthcare systems, and it should work and work properly as well. Now we need to track this by monitoring system. That's pretty important. E-commerce, AI filters fake and inappropriate product reviews. So this is, I think, very common. We may have seen or we may have heard also in the previous any of the blogs or any of the pages. There are some different fake reviews coming on to the products which are on e-commerce websites. So those are usually fake, or not usually fake, but most of the time it's fake whenever we see for any product. So the AI filters can actually analyze those product reviews also and see which one is a fake one or which one is not fake and all that things. And yeah, so these kind of case studies we can implement also. Now these case studies which I'm talking about, I'm not saying you that you will get to see in the real world in these spaces. First thing is, you may see case studies across different spaces also, or different industries, but you can practice building some of your products or some of your case studies on guardrails on these topics as well, if you are just kick starting this journey in this area. Okay, now conclusions. What are the takeaways from today's this video? Guardrails are pretty essential if you are building a AI system which is ethical and responsible as well. And it makes you proactive, which means if there is any risk coming in the future, you can track it before, and you can work against it, work for it before as well. Then the continuous monitoring, obviously this is a key point of guardrails. Implementing the guardrails is one point, but improvising it over the time by monitoring it in the real time situations, that is the most important thing as well. And based on that, only the success of the guardrails and your system will depend on as well. Then the industry collaboration, develop shared standards for safer AI ecosystem. Now, if you are using such tool or an LLM models API or something, so then we need to see that that AI model should be built with the safer AI, or I would say ethical AI considerations in mind. And if we are building the AI systems with the ethical AI considerations, so then it will actually make the AI ecosystem pretty better as well. Now, ethical AI is pretty important topic. Guardrails is one subtopic of ethical AI, ideally, which we will discuss in length, maybe in the upcoming videos as well. I hope you like our content, and if you do like our content, do like and share our videos, and do comment whatever you want to see in the next upcoming videos, and do subscribe the channel. Share with your friends who are in the similar technical space and who are working in the similar technology space, so that they can understand more as well. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.